Hey fellow readers, welcome back to Just Albany Reads. Thank you so much for tuning in today's video I will be telling you the list of book retellings that I wish to read in this upcoming year. I'm just very into at the moment things that's been rewarped into something new, and I kind of want to read as much as possible. This list is kind of short, so I'm sure I'll add more in there, but here's just a few. So let's get right into the video. Now, I forgot to write this book down. It is a middle grade book. This is actually the second book. I bought like the first three in the series, and it's the School of Good and Evil, and this is the second one. I did read the first one. I haven't read the second one, the third. And so it's pretty much about these two girls from this village, and they have magical powers, and they were able to be accepted in the school for good and evil. And the one that was assumed to be going into the school of evil actually went to the school, was chosen to go to the school for good, and the one that was assumed to be for the school of good was actually the school of evil. So it kind of just talks about their friendship and then the idea what's good, what's evil, blah 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 blah, but in a very middle grade-esque way. So yeah, I need to finish this series because I didn't really like it. I just haven't picked it up recently. So, and how is it a retelling? I forgot. So it does have, so it's witches, princesses, and there's fairy tale aspects into it. So you see, you know, you'll see Cinderella, or you'll see a witch, Baba Yaga, or something like that. So you'll see myths and retellings within. It is called These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. So two rival gangs in like the 1920 years, Shanghai. The woman Juliet is a flapper, and I guess she'll eventually she falls in love with Roma Matagov, and that's her first love and first betrayal. So it's a little of a twist there. So it's not gonna have that classic ending of them so in love. So the next book is a retelling of Jane Eyre, and it's My Plain Jane. So this is part of the Lady Janie series. I'm not really interested in reading the first or the third one, but this one caught my eye because it has a supernatural ghost aspect to it. So pretty much Jane Eyre, she's orphaned and she becomes a governess, and she goes to a certain particular mister's house or whatever, and she may or may not have married him, but he has some skeletons in the closet. So I'm guessing the supernatural element is going to come through there. So this one seemed a little bit more interesting, and I haven't read Jane Eyre. I may or may not read it. I don't know, me and classics aren't the best of friends, but at least, you know, I can look up what the gist of the classic is. So the next book is The Wraith and the Dawn, and it is by Renee Ade. Sorry if I mispronounced that. And this one is a Arabian Nights retelling. Pretty much there's a prince, or he's the king, I'm not sure. That's not what it's named here, but of the village, of the country, or whatever. And pretty much each night this king takes a wife and then kills her, and then he just keeps doing it repeatedly and repeatedly. And so the main character, her best friend, has been chosen victim, and so she decides to volunteer, but she decides to try her best to stay alive. And so what she does is continuously tells him stories each night, and then, you know, tells him a portion of the story and leaves it unknown so that he will want to listen to the story the next day, so that would just keep her alive and alive. But the twist here is that she realizes that he is a tormented soul himself, and he's not just this, well, he's still a monster, but not completely just this horrible monster. So I'm sure she's going to end up falling in love with him. And I feel like that's pretty close to the Arabian Nights story. So I probably won't be reading that book, definitely. Maybe eventually one day. But it's sounding kind of close to kind of what I know about the Arabian Nights. So I'm interested to see this author's take. And kind of also learn a little bit more about Arabian Nights, because I probably won't read that anytime soon. Okay, so the next book is A Blade So Black by L.L. McKinney. And this is a Alice in Wonderland retelling. And Alice in Wonderland is personally my favorite Disney like movie. Like, I can't think of I don't have a princess favorite. Like, I want to say I have one, but I really don't. Like, I really liked Alice in Wonderland growing up. I could rewatch that over and over. But this one, this one, it says, the first time the nightmares came, it nearly cost Alice her life. Now she's trained to battle monstrous creatures in a dark dream realm known as Wonderland, with magic weapons and hardcore fighting skills. Yet even warriors have a curfew. Life in the real world, Atlanta, isn't always so simple as Alice struggles an overprotective mom, a high-maintenance best friend, and a sleeping GPA. Keeping the nightmares at bay is turning into a full-time job. But when Alice's handsome and mysterious mentor is poisoned, she has to find the antidote by veering deeper into Wonderland than she's ever gone before. And she'll need to use everything she learned in both worlds to keep her losing her head. Literally. So that's interesting that Wonderland is in the dreamscape, because I mean, Wonderland is pretty much a dreamscape anyway. But so I like this cover as well, but I like this premise, and I know this one is a series, so I'm gonna try to read, you know, as many of the books that's out, and, you know, see how this author did Alice in Wonderland. The next book is House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig, and this one is the 12 Dancing Princesses myth retelling, or yeah, retelling. And so the book, it starts off, you know, the tagline, in a manor by the sea 12 sisters are cursed. But in the book, it starts off that there's only four girls left. All of the girls have died mysteriously, or they just happen to die, and so the main character thinks that it's some type of other, like, natural or some type of cause to why, you know, all of her sisters are dying. And pretty much the family has just been accustomed to living in sorrow. And when I was kind of looking through it again, still all of the sisters, I guess, pretty much have been sneaking out and going to balls or these dances or whatever, and then I guess the mysterious thing will happen, and so she is teetering into, you know, kind of like, even though like it's a pattern, she's teetering to, you know, following the steps of her family in a way. What I'm kind of get at, because she's kind of wanting to know who or what are they really dancing with. So yeah, so what's happening at these balls, or, you know, what's going on. So the next book is To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo, and I've seen this on a lot of booktubers books that they've read this year, so 2020. And this one is a Little Mermaid retelling, kind of. And so the main character, Princess Lyra, is a siren royalty and the most lethal of them all. With the hearts of 17 princes in her collection, she is revered across the sea, until a twist of fate forces her to kill one of her own. To punish her daughter, the Sea Queen transformed Lyra into the one thing they loathe most, a human. Robbed of her song, Lyra heads into the winter solstice to deliver Prince Elion's heart to the Sea Queen, or remain a human forever. The ocean is the only place Prince Elion calls home, and even though he is heir to the most powerful kingdom in the world, hunting sirens is more than an unsavory hobby. It's his calling. When he rescues a drowning woman in the ocean, she's more than what she appears. She promises to help him find the key to destroying all of siren kind for good. But can he trust her? And just how many deals will Elion have to barter to eliminate mankind's greatest enemy? That's a cute little twist. And I always like sirens a little bit more than just plain mermaids, but because sirens are a little more like badass, honestly. So my next book is Wicked Fox by Kat Chow, or Cho, by Kat Cho. This is another series, and this is a Korean myth retelling. It's Gumho. I'm gonna just write it right here. Not sure, but it's a 9-tailed fox that devours the energy of men in order to survive. So I've seen this in, like, you know, some like movies and TV shows, and yeah, that's how I kind of know. I don't know too much about the myth, but so pretty much the main character is that, and she eventually starts a friendship with a male boy, human boy, who was being attacked by a goblin. And yeah, she kind of has to teeter between her friendship with him and her immortal life and her survival. And I mean, I'm sure he tempts her by being in each other's presence. So I'm interested in seeing, you know, the process and, you know, how this author, you know, works this myth. I'm probably going to read a little bit more about and learn how to pronounce the word of the 9-tailed fox myth. So this next one is an older book. The other ones are fairly new releases, or like, you know, for the last like maybe like year or so. This book, I'm not sure when it came out, but I know it's a little bit older, and it's called Vasa in the Night by Sarah Porter. This one I have no clue about the original myth, so this one is like a wild card, so I'm very interested in reading about it. It's a retelling or a mixture of Baba Yaga and Vasilisa the Beautiful. And kind of when I was reading a little bit about the myth, pretty much Vasilisa's family moved into the forest, and Vasilisa comes across Baba Yaga and has to do something for her or she dies. So I'm not sure how the author put it in modern day Enchanted Kingdom of Brooklyn. That's what it says. And how that's going to work. She still has to kind of break this witch's curse and free her Brooklyn neighborhood. But the character that's about Baba Yaga, her name is Babs, isn't playing fair. So I'm kind of interested in reading more about Baba Yaga, because I don't know much about her as a fairy tale myth witch that wreaked havoc on other people. So yeah, I'm very interested in learning more about this. I think, what is Baba Yaga? So these are Russian myths, and I don't really know many Russian myths, so I'm interested. So I keep saying that I'm interested. So yeah, I'm intrigued to learn more about these myths, these Russian myths, and more about Baba Yaga, and then this Vasilisa, I think that's how you say it, Vasilisa the Beautiful. So the next book is Tiger Lily by Jodi Lynn Anderson, and this is a Peter Pan retelling. And I remember seeing this book like a long time ago. I feel like I was still like in maybe like high school, or maybe it was a college, but I never got around to reading it. But I like the premise of this one. This is kind of so Tiger Lily is the, I guess, first woman in Peter Pan's life that comes to Neverland. Was it Neverland? Or am I tripping? Yeah, Neverland. So before Wendy, and she gives up her family, gives up a marriage suitor that she has, and so it kind of gives that backdrop. But then we also see when Wendy does come, and then starts to steal the spotlight, and she either becomes enemies with kind of Peter Pan or becomes enemies with Wendy. I'm not sure, but yeah, that seems like a really good premise. And I wonder if, where does like Tinkerbell come to play, because Tinkerbell was annoyed with Peter Pan. So the next book is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, and this one is the retelling, or draws emphasis from the Iliad to the Greek Iliad. I don't know too much about what the book is about, but I did read, or I listened to Circe by the same author, and I really enjoyed it. And I know this book was before that book, so I'm interested in kind of continuing reading this author's work and how she reworks these Greek mythologies. I'm not even too sure what all the Iliad is about. I think the Iliad just has different stories of all of, you know, the Greek myths kind of. I'm seeing like words like the Trojan War. So yes, I guess I'm going to see some of the battling of the Trojan War in the book. So this is another book that's on my list. The next book is The Dark Wife by Sarah Deemer. And I was just doing some research of, you know, book retellings, and this one stood out to me. It's a Hades and Persephone retelling. And in this one, Persephone is actually punished by her father Zeus, and she is sent to be with the evil Hades, who they think is a man, but it's actually a goddess. And so while she's down there, it turns where she's more so finding, Persephone is more so finding more freedom in the underworld. She finds love, and finds love within herself. So yeah, this one has great kind of reviews on Goodreads, and I think it won a lot of awards. I know it is something that's older, but I definitely think that that's a different take on the Hades Persephone myth. The next book is Spin the Dawn. This is a series by Elizabeth Lim. So this one is set in a Chinese backdrop. And so Spin the Dawn is a Mulan kind of take. It's not exactly like Mulan. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people would rather just take the Mulan aspect out, but pretty much the main character father, who's a master tailor, has been asked to do a competition to possibly be the king's new personal tailor. I think that's kind of what it's like, but her father becomes ill, so she decides to pretend to be a man, because only men are tailors. Pretends to be a man and goes and competes. So that's pretty much the only aspect of it like Mulan. But I'm interested in seeing if I want to like something like this. it is a YA fantasy, so I'm interested in seeing where the like fantasy aspect of it is, because we're kind of missing out on like the action of what you think Milan is. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a try. It's also a series, so I'll let you know if I like it. And the last book that's on this list is A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemerier. Oh, I don't know if I pronounced this right, but this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. It says, cursed by a powerful enchantress to repeat the autumn of his 18th year, Prince Ran of the Hair of Emberfall, though he could be saved easily if a girl fell for him, but that was before he turned into a vicious beast hell-bent on destruction, before he destroyed his castle, his family, and every last shred of hope. Nothing has ever been easy for Harper, with her father long gone, her mother dying, and her brother constantly underestimating her because of her. Harper learned to be tough enough to survive. When she tries to save a stranger on the streets of Washington, D.C., she's pulled into a magical world. So, sounds pretty similar, but definitely different. That's going to be a good book to also try. That's fairly new as well. I'm not sure if the series is finished, but it's also a series that I'm going to give a try. And so yeah, that is all of the retelling books that I would like to read this 2021. Yeah, like I said in my previous video, I have like 3 more that I'm kind of adding to this list, but you can watch that video, my 2021 anticipated releases. There's 3 retellings coming out as well. So I have a lot of retellings to read and reading up on the myths and fairy tales as well. So I'm looking forward to it. So let me know if you have any favorite book retellings that wasn't mentioned on this book, or what you think about the ones that I mentioned. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you've read and if you like these. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Toodaloo.